Satire is a key element of Mardi Gras, and nowhere is that on keener display than in the Zulu Social Aid and Pleasure Club. Formed in 1909, Zulu's founders chose their costumes to mock the demeaning portrayals of blacks in early 20th century culture and the pretensions of the all-white parading organizations of the time. Each year, members don black makeup, wear grass skirts, and hand out coconuts, following in the example of their brave founders. Now, 112 years later, Zulu is one of New Orleans' most beloved parading organizations.
When did Zulu get together? Well, we got together back in 1909. A group of laborers decided to put a parade on. You know, Mardi Gras was not created for blacks in the city. We weren't a part of the planning, anything. It just wasn't created for us. In the earlier years, we were on foot. And then around 1915-16, the organization began they built their own floats. The history of Zulu is this a group of laborers decided to see a play, and they saw a play about the Smart Set Company, and the name of the play was There Never Was, Never Will Be a King Like Me. In that play, they saw a skit, and it was about an African tribe, the Zulu tribe, and that's when they decided to start an organization, a club, and they named it after Canadian Zulu. That's where they got the name from, and that's how the whole thing got started. From there, turning what we have today.
What does Mardi Gras mean to me? Mardi Gras to me means what many people know it as, is the biggest free show on earth that largely represents the culture and traditions of the city of New Orleans.
History of Black Mardi Gras. Well, as a kid, going to the city of New Orleans, I was able to see Mardi Gras in two spectrums. Okay, one that was segregated, but we weren't allowed to go on the thoroughfares of the city. We weren't allowed to go on the St. Charles Avenues or the Canal Street, basically view the parades. The other side of it is when integration came, and then I was able to take part in it. The beautiful thing about it in Black Mardi Gras, our Mardi Gras was in the neighborhoods, the black neighborhoods. The Mardi Gras Indians, the skeletons, the baby dolls. Our Mardi Gras was on Claiborne Avenue under the beautiful oak trees. The standout moment in Zulu's history is when we were allowed to parade on Canal Street. The community they didn't know what Zulu was. They didn't know anything about us. But it was an opportunity for them to see us and then for us to see them. We had never been on Canal Street. We didn't have our parades through the community as we did then. We were allowed to go on St. Charles Avenue. We were allowed to go on Canal Street. And we went through not only just in the black community, but we were in the white community as well as the Central Business District. And that was the biggest highlight of the organization.
Most people don't really realize that we have a Junior Zulu mentoring program where we go out in our communities and help mentor young boys in our community. In the recent years, we have been sponsoring maids for our debutantes that we call Zulu Maids. We provide scholarships last year for all of our Zulu maids to help them further their education. So we also do a Strong Toy for Tots program that started right after Hurricane Katrina, where around the holiday times, we make sure that we put smiles on the faces of our boys and girls in our community, distributing toys and bicycles to those less fortunate in our community. And also we have food basket giveaways. Our organization has grown in leaps and bounds with respect to making sure we're driving significant synergies in our communities.
Louis Armstrong grew up in the area where the Zulu organization was formed on Perdido Street. He and one of the presidents of the organization were boyhood friends. Louis Armstrong had always seen the Zulus, and he always dreamed to be King Zulu one day. Well, after he got to be famous and he moved from the city in his travels, the organization decided to bestow upon him and ask him to come back home to be King Zulu. In 1949, that's when they offered him to come back home to reign as King Zulu, and he did.
Most of our queens come right from our neighborhood. We had the opportunity to, several years ago, have Rosalie Roche, who was administrator at Southern University in Baton Rouge, represented the organization as Queen Zulu. And so we are proud to say that our kings go out and make sure that we find women who are movers and shakers in our community and allow them to represent this organization as Queen Zulu. In Mardi Gras Day, you will find our parade consisting of 31 floats. 31 float captains are responsible for what I consider the arduous task of making sure that our floats are filled with coconuts and riders. Our iconic floats are those that many people come out on Mardi Gras Day to see. I would like to say the most iconic float is King Zulu, followed by the Big Shot, the Witch Doctor, Province Prince, Ambassador, Governor of Zululand, and Mr. Big Stuff.
The main throw is the coconut, the famous Zulu coconut. That's the most one, that I consider the most coveted one of all. The other throws, they didn't come later on. The first official throw was the coconut that we had. Today we have over 100, 200 items that our members purchase through our store that they pass out along the parade route. It's one big party now. You know, they enjoy that day and do the parade, catch coconuts, beads, you know, look at the floats of Zulu and the marching groups and the bands that we have. It's just amazing.
Tonight's show is made possible through the generous support of our sponsors.
Shake that thing.